It's exactly 3 p.m. here in Egypt, time for the news, and I'd like to welcome my colleague Mumyزة. Good afternoon, Mumyزة.
Good afternoon to you, Shireen. Good afternoon, our dear viewers, and we'll start our news bulletin with a look at the headlines.
President Al-Sisi held a meeting with the Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli and the Governor of the Central Bank of Egypt, Hassan Abdullah. During the meeting, the President was briefed on indicators of total economy and positive indicators of banking sector, monetary policy and exchange rate, in addition to central bank policies in facing inflation and the state's efforts to increase foreign currency reserve. The President also gave directives to the banking sector to continue providing necessary requirements of production and industry in the sectors of top priority, which contributes to boosting comprehensive economic growth in Egypt.
President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi issued a presidential decree to form the Supreme Council for the Media Regulation for 4-year term, presided by Khalid Mahmoud Abdelaziz. The President also issued a presidential decree to form the National Media Authority for 4 years, headed by Ahmed Mohammed al-Mislimani. The Media Authority also includes a number of public figures and experts. The President also issued a presidential decree to form the National Authority for Press for 4 years, led by Abdel Sadiq Mohammed al-Shorbagy.
Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli on Monday witnessed the inauguration of the 3rd International Manufacturing Conference and Exhibition under the auspices of President Fattah al-Sisi. The 3-day exhibition is organized by Egyptian Industries Federation at Manara Center for Conferences and International Fairs in Cairo, with the aim of supporting shared international initiatives involving industrials and manufacturers on regional levels, and in order to achieve sustainable economic development along with 18 industrial production sectors that constitute core economic sectors in Egypt. The annual event will witness a wide national, Arab, African, Euro-Mediterranean and international participation among key industrial sectors. Participating in the exhibition are engineering industries, building material industries, metallurgical industries, food industries, chemical industries, real estate development, oil and mining industries, as well as information technology and communication sector. Participants also include several private and public business sectors, companies and companies that are members of Industries Federation, as well as international partnerships enterprises. The Ministry of Industry will be also holding an exhibition with the aim of networking local and international manufacturers.
Minister of Foreign Affairs, Migration and Expatriate Affairs, Badr Abdelghati, stressed Egypt's constant commitment to offer efforts needed to achieve the truth in the Middle East and to boost regional peace. This came as he participated at the Rome Mediterranean Dialogues Conference, which began on Monday and will continue till November 27th. Foreign Minister Abdelghati condemned Israeli aggression in both the Palestinian Gaza Strip territory and Lebanon. The top diplomat called for an immediate international interference to force a ceasefire. He explained the Egyptian vision to stop the escalations in the Middle East, including a ceasefire in Gaza and Lebanon and a release of captives in the Strip, asserting that Egypt will host a conference to drum up humanitarian aid to Gaza in the second half of December. The conference is considered as a high-level platform in which the countries located north and south of the Mediterranean participate to tackle joint challenges and crises and to explore the chances of cooperation.
As part of his visit to Italy, Foreign Minister Badr Abdelghati and several other Arab counterparts joined discussion panel with G7 ministers in the city of Fuji on Monday upon an invitation from Italian presidency. In addition to Egypt, the discussion is also joined by ministers from Saudi Arabia, Jordan, United Arab Emirates and Qatar, as well as Secretary General of the Arab League. G7 foreign ministers are meeting near Rome for 2 days of talks on wars in Middle East and Ukraine. On Monday, the ministers' meeting with regional counterparts of the Middle East includes ways to support efforts to reach a ceasefire in Gaza and Lebanon, initiatives to support its civilian population, and to enhance reliable political horizon in order to ensure regional stability. Host Italian Foreign Minister Antonio Tajani added another item to the G7 agenda last week after International Criminal Court issued arrest warrants for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, his former defense minister.
Minister of Foreign Affairs, Migration and Expatriate Affairs, Badr asserted Egypt's keen interest in achieving food security and in upgrading nutrition and food security indicators by 2030 since launching the National Strategy for Food and Nutrition 2022-2030. The Foreign Minister's remarks came at a meeting with the Director General of the International Food and Agriculture Organization. The meeting in the Italian capital Rome came as part of the Foreign Minister's participation in the 10th Rome Mediterranean Dialogues Conference. The top diplomat explained that despite Egyptian government's efforts to ensure food security, it is shouldering the burden of hosting more than 9 million migrants and refugees.
Renewed Israeli strikes hit Beirut's southern suburbs on Monday, state media reported, after an Israeli army evacuation warning following heavy raids on Hezbollah bastion, this night. The official national news agency reported 2 consecutive strikes in the vicinity of Harit area. Earlier, Hezbollah movement fired heavy rocket barrages at Israel on Sunday, and the Israeli military said houses had been destroyed or set alight near Tel Aviv after powerful Israeli airstrike killed at least 29 people in Beirut the day before. Israel also struck Beirut's Hezbollah-controlled southern suburbs, where intensified bombardment over the last 2 weeks has coincided with signs of progress in U.S.-led ceasefire talks.
Top EU diplomat Joseph Borrell called for an immediate ceasefire in the Israeli-Hezbollah war while on a visit to Lebanon as the militant group claimed a wave of cross-border attacks. Earlier this week, U.S. Special Envoy Amos Hochstein said in Lebanon that a truce deal was within our grasp and then headed to Israel for talks with the officials there. In the Lebanese capital, Borrell held talks with the Parliament Speaker Nabih Berri, who has led mediation efforts on behalf of ally Hezbollah.
Hamas armed wing of Izzeddin al-Qassam on Monday said its fighters ambushed a 10-man strong Israeli force in the southern Gaza city of Rafah, killing and wounding its soldiers. This comes as a more than year-long Israeli war of aggression.
The Palestinian Health Ministry said Israeli forces killed 2 people, including a 13-year-old near the Palestinian town of Yabad, near the northern of the West Bank city of Jenin. The Health Ministry identified the 2 as Mohammed Hamrosh, 13, and Ahmed Dezay, 20, did not disclose the details about the circumstances behind their deaths. It was the latest bloodshed in the West Bank, which has faced a surge of Israeli aggression since the 13-month Israeli war of genocide began in Gaza. The Health Ministry says nearly 800 people have been killed, with more than 160 of them 18 and younger.
Russia's defense ministry said today that its forces had shot down 8 ballistic missiles fired by Ukrainian forces in the last 24 hours.
Earlier in the day, Ukrainian drones hit a fuel and energy facility in the Russian region of Kaluga in Kiev. Latest attack on Moscow's energy sites. More details.
Ukrainian authorities said today that Russian forces attacked energy infrastructure in Ukraine's southern region of Mykolaiv and industrial facilities in the southeastern Zaporizhzhia region overnight. Mykolaiv governor said engineers had restored power to most of the consumers facing power cuts in the attack's aftermath. As of the morning, he reported no casualties and said the air defense downed 2 drones over the region. Elsewhere, Zaporizhzhia's regional governor also said that Russia launched tens of drones overnight to attack the region. The attack injured 1 child and dealt damage to multiple industrial facilities and residential block. Ukrainian air defense also repelled a drone attack on the capital and surrounding region overnight. The regional and city authorities reported no casualties or significant damage in the attack aftermath. Also, Russia said that its air defenses had shot down 8 ballistic missiles fired by Ukraine amid heightened tensions over Kiev's use of Western-supplied long-range arms against Russia. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has said that Russia used around 460 drones and over 20 missiles to attack Ukraine in the past week. Moscow and Kiev have been intensifying cross-border drones and missile attacks, and Russia last week launched its new Orshnik missile on Ukraine, spurring calls for de-escalation. And Egypt's bourse rebounded at the start of today's transactions, with its capital of listed companies adding 8 billion Egyptian pounds of gains. The benchmark index EGX30 rose 0.14% near the 30,440 points mark. The equal weight indices EGX70 and EGX100 climbed 0.5% and 0.4% respectively.
Crude oil hovered near 2-week highs as the geopolitical tensions heightened between the Western powers and major oil producers, Russia and Iran, raising risks of supply disruption. Brent crude futures climbed 0.2% to reach $75.3 a barrel, with the U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude futures were at $71.38 a barrel, up 0.2%. Both benchmarks rallied about 6% last week after Russia and Ukraine exchanged missiles, raising crude supply concerns. Well, our dear viewers, with that we come to the end of our news bulletin. You were in the company of myself, Maisti Rabia, and I had all the pleasure to be working with my dear colleague Shireen Adel. Thank you so much, Shireen.
Thank you, Maisti. Thank you, dear viewers.